Hello, hello. Welcome back, Earth Tribers. Thank you for joining me today. All right. First off, hello. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good week. And if not, I hope it gets better soon. I know the holidays are tough, and I feel you. Look, I'm wishing you all the best. Happy holidays, best wishes. All right. With that being said, let's get right into it. Today, I want to talk about addiction. So, I've mentioned before that the people who run this world are addicts. They're addicted to money, they're addicted to power, and they're taking and hoarding from the rest of us. And it is making life very difficult. Um, it's not the entire problem, but it's a huge part of it. Um, so first off, I want to start by opening up and talking about my addiction, my past addictions. Boy, I had them all. So yeah, I was an alcoholic for many years. Um, Later in my alcoholism, I also uh, used some heavier drugs, cocaine to be particular, um, and of course junk food. I was addicted to junk food, all sorts of bad food, processed foods, refined sugars. I was addicted to junk spending. Uh, I was addicted to the concept of chasing experience, which I'll get into. Uh, and I was really doing a number on my body, my soul, my mental health, the people I love. Uh, After a while, it really took its toll, uh, including the damage I did to the most important relationship in my life at the time. Um, anyway, moving on. There was also a complacency about my addiction. I was a bartender, so drinking heavily was kind of part of the job. And I remember there was this one experience I had. I was out with some fellow bartender buddies, and we were out on the town. Like Tuesday, our usual day drinking, and we were at another one of our friends' bars. We were pretty good and gone, and one of the regulars of that bar came in, and we all knew him. And I think he got out of work early that day. He was a lawyer, but he looked at us and he was just like, "Man, you guys live the life." And I was wasted. I was kind of like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." But in reality, inside, I was screaming and dying in pain. I was like, "Please help me!" But of course, I couldn't vocalize this. Um, it was a little bit of an eye opening experience because I was like, how am I living the life? Like I'll tell you, in my years of addiction, I was spiraling down an endless, seemingly endless pit of despair and depression, and it's like I found a new darker shade of black every day. Uh, it was abysmal and horrific, and I wish it on no one. Um, and my rock bottom came in kind of like a comfortable place. I was in a very nice house. It was a rental. I was in a hot tub, and there was a Cadillac in the driveway. And someone I loved very dearly told me, "You're never going to quit drinking." I told them, I said, "I need to quit drinking. I think I need to quit drinking. I think that's what I need to do." And they said to me, "You're never going to quit drinking, but I'll always love you." And that shattered me. I felt like such a disappointment. I felt like I was doomed. And I knew then in that moment I had to quit drinking. I had to. And I was very lucky. I knew the way to do it. I read a book by Alan Carr, and I highly, if you suffer from any addiction, I highly recommend Alan Carr and his Easy Way program. The first book I read of his was Easy Way to Stop Smoking. And then when I decided to quit drinking, he had a book called Quit Drinking Without Willpower. And I was terrified picking up the book. I remember my hands shaking. But I read it slowly over the course of a month. I don't know why it took me so long. But then at the end of the book, I quit drinking. And it was an amazing feeling. And then I quit processed foods. I quit refined sugar. I quit my drug habit, or at least the bad one. I smoked weed for many years after, but that's a whole nother story. But I was purifying my body, and as I was taking things out, it was a turbulent time in my life. I was losing a lot of friends because being in the bar industry, you know, a lot of your friends are drinkers and they don't want to see you or you know, that kind of thing when you quit drinking, especially if you're happy doing it. So I started filling my life with yoga, exercise, meditation. I started looking at life differently. Life started becoming more beautiful. And in purifying and strengthening my body, I started to taste real happiness. And this was a profound experience. And I started chasing this. This was the path forward, and I'm going, and anything that, you know, fed this feeling of happiness, I would entertain it, try it, and give it my all. Because it's funny. The way addiction works is, and this is something that's covered in these books that I mentioned, but it takes your happiness away and then gives some of it back, and then takes more away and then gives some of it back. But it never returns you to that original default state of happiness, which I believe is how we come out. To me, happiness is just the car being turned on and no check engine lights on the dashboard going off. That's how we're supposed to be. Depression, anxiety, all these things that we feel, those are warning signs that our body is telling us you are missing something. So going from chasing drug and alcohol, drugs and alcohol and food, sugar, etc. Chasing stuff, like buying stuff needlessly. Like I had a really bad junk spending habit. Chasing experiences, trips, going places, trying to do different things. Coming from that into being able to just be and just be in the moment. And that's what mindfulness brings, is the ability to be in the moment and be very, very satisfied in the moment, realizing you don't need nothing in that moment. That's the path. That's the path for all of us individually. That's how we find happiness. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a complete minimalist nowadays. I will get a pizza on occasion. The flavor is very nostalgic. It takes me back. However, it is not a mainstay in my diet. I still buy things that maybe I don't need. I'm a sneakerhead, and just recently I bought a couple of pairs of really nice sneakers. But I don't look for them. I don't look to them for my innate happiness. And that's why I feel like I could really enjoy them, because I'm not asking something that they can't deliver for me. I can literally just be like, these shoes bring me joy, which is above happiness. That's above the default. So how do we become addicted? How does addiction happen? And it's not just chemical. How does monetary addiction happen? How does greed happen? Well, okay. For example, when you buy a car, it's very satisfying. You have the utility and the ability to move and go places and do things that you didn't have before. And when you're empty inside, if you're empty inside, and you have that space, because ultimately addiction is just trying to fill this space, this emptiness that we feel, right? If that first car made you feel more fulfilled, you're like, let me try a second car. The second car doesn't do it the same. So then we realize, okay, well, let's get rid of both cars. Maybe just get a nicer car. This is already the path. You see what's happening? So, and there's satisfaction in feeding yourself. There's satisfaction in paying your bills, paying your rent. It feels good. And then, but then, you know, you try to say, well, let me pay next month's rent. Let me make sure I have, 2 months rent saved up, and then 4 months rent, and then a year's rent. And so this is where greed comes in. It's just addiction. And it's not going to be as satisfying as that initial hit, And again, if you're fulfilled and happy, you can still have that satisfaction in doing these things. But then you don't look for them for your happiness because you're already happy. So you don't need to keep going further and further and reaching bigger and bigger, because any addict will tell you the highs need to get bigger. You need more constantly. That's the journey. That's the journey of addiction is bigger, more, harder, faster, stronger. And it's all trying to fill that emptiness. And what happens is, as you go bigger, the depression becomes worse. You go lower, and then you need to go bigger, and you go lower. And my heart bleeds for the people that run this world, because they might be the most addicted out of all of us. They are so addicted that they need everything. The richest men. I've heard Elon Musk in an interview say, no one wants to be in my mind. That's a sign of a depressed man, if I've ever heard one. If he's saying in his head things are so bad nobody wants to be there, that's a telltale sign that money isn't going to solve your problems. Money isn't going to bring you happiness, because he's one of the richest men alive. Yet we live in this society that tries to convince us that we need these things, that we need this money, that we need these chemicals to be fulfilled. But that's just an illusion. That's a lie perpetrated by the people at the top, and that's the trickle-down effect. The trickle-down effect is addiction. They're addicted, and they pass down addiction, and the addiction comes down, and they need to get us addicted to more and more things so they can feed their own addiction for money and chemicals and etc., right? The cycle needs to stop. We live in an economy, we live in a world where infinite growth is promoted. Every company wants to sell more, wants to make more, wants to do more. Infinite growth in a finite world is unsustainable. We will destroy this planet, and then we will have way bigger problems than depression. We will not have a home. We will not even have our lives. We need to break free from this cycle. And we need to look at the addicts at the top with a gentle heart and understanding. And we need to teach them better. We need to teach ourselves better. We need to break this concept that happiness is on the other side of something. I've talked about the Spire alternative. I've talked about how we could cultivate happiness. And if you want to check out that video, please just go to my channel and you'll find it there. I just, I know a better world is coming. I know it for a fact. I see the hero's journey in nature and I see it for humanity. And this channel, me doing this, is just me acting my part, doing my role to get my little corner of friends, acquaintances, internet, whoever I could get to view these videos, to start viewing the world as it is. As a beautiful, magical place where we don't need stuff, where we don't need chemicals to fulfill ourselves, to make ourselves happy. Those are things that can be enjoyed, but not things that we need to hoard to the point where we take away from somebody else. We need to give to each other. We need to love each other. We live in we live in a paradigm that's built on fear. And it stems from this addictive mindset. And the next paradigm we build needs to be built on love. And with that, I just want to thank you for joining me today. If you like this video, if you like this channel, please, please, please like, subscribe, and share. I love you all so freaking much. Let's make this movement happen. Welcome to Earth Tribe. Thank you and have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time. Bye.